Well, welcome back everyone to the Petal Talk podcast. My name is Allison Crowder, your host, and today I have an extra special guest, Miss Kristen. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
To chat and to learn so much about your story because I don't know a ton. Hi, welcome to Petal Talk, where skincare meets soul care. And tell us, before we get started, a little bit about you and a bit of your spiel.
So I'm Kristin Koldenhoven. I'm the owner of Sophie Trey. My sister and I own Sophie Trey together. So part owner of Sophie Trey. I have lived in Lake Mary all of my life. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but my parents literally put me in a U-Haul and moved me here when I was like 2 weeks old. So literally a Florida girl at heart. And I have two sons that are 10 and 13. And we live here in Lake Mary. I work in Lake Mary, and that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's just so fun.
Yeah.
So you were not born here. You just mentioned you were born in, you said Cincinnati?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have family that lives there?
Yes, most of my extended family lives there.
Okay.
And then my parents, when I was 2 weeks old, just decided that they wanted to try to create a new life for themselves.
Okay.
And put my sister and I in a U-Haul and moved us here, and we have an amazing life here now in Lake Mary, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they want to come to Lake Mary?
I think just they wanted to move to Florida just to create a new opportunity for themselves and just kind of maybe create something different than they could in Cincinnati.
Yeah. And so that looked like purchasing like multiple, was it just like land or like other businesses, or like what business were they kind of looking to get into when they made such a big move?
Well, they were young. They were still, like, my mom was going to school still. They were, like, hustling. My parents are, like, amazing entrepreneurs. I've learned so much from them.
That's cool.
They're developers now. My dad was in construction at the time. And my mom is a contractor. So, like, they worked together. At the time, they were working, like, for people. And then they started building houses and developing and growing their businesses and eventually becoming commercial real estate developers as well.
And is that what they still do?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I bet you've learned a lot about the business side from such an early age, because that seems like such a, not like stressful, but there's so many details in a career like that. What are some things that they taught you at kind of a young age that you have like still held on to?
I think the biggest thing you learn from parents that are hustlers like that and just do, I mean, when you're in that situation too, when you were like, are just moving and just like, it's basically like, you're just going for it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you've got nothing and it's all in.
Yeah.
I think you just learn work ethic.
Yes.
Which is so important. Like, I think you just learn that no matter what, you're just going. Like, you're just giving it your all at all times. And I think my parents definitely taught me, and I'm grateful for the work ethic they instilled and that I watched. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I definitely think kids just replicate what they watch, and I think I just watched them be amazing people and business owners.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. And I think, you know, sometimes when you have entrepreneurial parents, you kind of stray away from that because you see maybe the not glamorous side. But did you always want to be in like fashion? Did you always want to own your own space, or what did that look like for you when you were younger?
So I definitely always, since middle school, I think I've said I wanted to own my own store.
Yeah.
Like, I remember doing projects in middle school. At the time in middle school, I grew up here in Lake Mary, so for those of you that are from here, you might remember the store Beach Scene. Okay. And I remember interviewing the owner when I was like in middle school for like saying that's what I want to do when I grow up. Yeah. And so it was just something I always knew I wanted to do. And then when I was in high school, just started working in retail and was like, I like this. Worked for a corporation for a little bit, and then didn't really like the corporate side, like not corporate, but like the, like, you know, a big company. Sure. So then I worked for boutiques and I liked that better. And just learned that side of it. And so, yeah, I think in my mind, I was always like, that's just what I want to do.
Yeah. Did you go to college?
I did go to college. I did not graduate college.
That's okay. I didn't either. It's totally fine.
I tested it out for a semester. I was like, this is not my jam. I felt like I was wasting my time because I knew what I wanted to do.
What did you study, or what was the goal?
I went to college for business.
Okay.
I left after a semester. I came back to Lake Mary and started interior design school for a semester. Because, I think you guys have talked about this before too. Fashion and interior design, skincare, all of it's kind of in the same umbrella and
aesthetic careers. Absolutely.
So I was a little lost when I went to college and was like, this isn't my jam. I was like, I don't know, what am I going to do? Am I just, I didn't have the opportunity yet to open my store. It didn't feel right yet. So I was like, well, maybe it's interior design. So I came back. SSC has a really great interior design program. Tried that for a semester. And I was like, don't really like this either. Yeah. And then I just went for it and opened Sophie and Trey.
Okay. So tell me what that looked like. You decide one day, hey sis, this is what we're doing? Or was it all you? Or what does that look like?
So my sister owned a restaurant before we opened the stores. So I was going to interior design school. She owned the restaurant. I was working there. So I would go to school and then I would open the cafe in the mornings or close. And I loved the it was Delano. It was an amazing cafe in downtown Lake Mary that I loved. I loved making coffees for people.
That's so fun.
It was a really fun stage of life where I learned a lot of customer
And how old are you
service.
at this time?
Probably 20, 19,
sure. Okay.
20.
So just the best time.
Yeah.
To just have a fun job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just fun and I learned a lot. She left me, I just learned a lot about management and how to run it. I feel food industry too. I feel everyone should work in the food industry at some time in their life. I tell my kids, I'm you are going to have to work in the food industry.
I totally agree.
I think it's mandatory. Everyone should have to.
Yes.
People are crazy about their food. They're weird.
Yes. My first job was at Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
And I always say it has set me up for success my whole life.
For sure.
And I still say my pleasure. And it's good for that. It's good for the mental to have to go through something like that.
Yes, it is. When we get applications from people that have been trained at Chick-fil-A, I'm like, yes. They're on the top of my list.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, because Chick-fil-A trains well, and then you've also worked in the food industry.
Yes.
So I'm like,
yes.
Amazing.
And it gave me a leg up in a lot of my younger jobs because I did have that, and I worked there for a year and a half, and I attribute so much of my bubbly but respectful nature from that because that's what they train you to do.
Yeah.
And the training was crazy. And at 15, 16, 17, I was molded to be so, aware at such a young age. And yeah, so that's kind of my biggest flex is I used to work at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, so you're working there and then, how does the conversation happen?
So then she sold Delano. Her husband and her owned Delano. They sold that. He was going on to new things, and I was at interior design school, was kind of not loving it. She has her master's degree in finance.
Wow.
She's just really great at business, and I've always wanted to open a store, so I said I would really like to open the store. She had, more of the business side of it. I remember at that time I had my first townhouse I was living at, and so we were on the bottom floor of the townhouse, and I remember just being we decided, let's do it. We started meeting with vendors, ordered, the clothes started coming in, and we just
walk me through all that. Because I find this to be so amazing. I actually went to fashion school for a very short period of time, and I'm a big clothes girl.
Yes.
So tell me about, first of all, how did you get the name?
Our tagline is where sophistication meets trend.
Oh.
So it's not our dogs. It's not our kids. Everyone's is it your kids?
Yeah.
So it actually started with a tagline where sophistication meets trend is kind of what we wanted to base, the vibe.
That.
So then we just pulled Sophie and Trey from sophistication and trend.
Yes. Okay.
And then Fourth and Ocean, our other store, is just a branch off of Sophie and Trey. And that's just because it's on 4th Street and it's our beach store. So
yeah. It's so cute. Yeah, it's the best. Okay, so then so you're looking at your sister, this is it, this is happening. What's the first call you make? What's the first order you place? What does that look like?
So, I had at that point, I guess actually after Delano, I worked at a boutique. I forgot. It's so hard to remember.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
I guess that wasn't my next step. There was boutiques I worked at in between there too. Maybe I was working at another boutique at the same time. I don't remember. But so I had worked in retail at the same time too as the restaurant. And so I kind of knew what brands, how, we had definitely a vision.
Yeah.
And they have shows that you go to where you meet with the vendors and you just create your, it's kind of like the spa where you're creating what you want to sell to your customers. Like what skincare do you believe in? What do you want to present to your customers? Ultimately, when you create your own business, you want people to feel better when they leave. So like you want to find the best possible products and service that you can to give that to them. So that's basically what we talked about. And then we just started doing it. And then you just kind of have to just go for it. Like, I think it was just kind of like, okay, like you just have to open your doors and just like sit there and have slow days where you're like, are we going to make it or like not? Like, and it's a very vulnerable feeling, but you just kind of like, if you want to own a business and do it, you just have to like open your doors or start that network online or whatever it is and just kind of like hustle and do what you can. And just have days where you want to cry and have days where you're
That is entrepreneurship.
Yeah, like, and that's just part of it, and you just have to accept it and be able to handle that.
Absolutely. Do you remember the first piece of clothing that you ordered?
I do remember a couple.
Can you tell me what it was?
Yeah, I remember like this one white dress. I remember it had like ruffles. It was like a halter dress, and I just thought it was like so angelic. And I was like, I can't believe we get to sell this.
Yes, yeah.
I just remember it being so cool.
Like, this is my dream job.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so when you mentioned earlier, you opened 15 years ago.
Yes.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah.
What did the first like 6 months, year, because that's tough, what did that look like for you guys?
It looked like being at the store every single day. I think that first year we had one employee towards the end because I got married the next year. So I remember like we opened in 2009. I got married 2010. So then I remember we had to like have somebody man the store while I was getting married.
Oh, sure.
So, so we
like,
had,
I need to go.
Yeah. So we had to like make sure we had like an employee, and Kelly, who is amazing, if she's watching, she was the most fabulous first employee. And she helped us, but it just looked like showing up every day. And I loved it. I mean, it was fun. And you just, just went in and did your best every single day.
I obviously didn't live here at the time. What did the kind of not like culture, but like what did downtown Lake Mary look like at that time? Was it as busy as it is now? Or?
No.
Okay.
I mean, at that time we were in a spot that was, we call it the closet. It was extremely small.
So it wasn't where you are now?
No.
Okay.
It was where the CBD.
Oh, that little shop.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We didn't even have a front window. We only had a front door.
Wow.
So there was like no mannequins to walk by and to see. It was literally a front door. I remember I used to bring a mannequin outside every day so that people like maybe
just
knew there was clothes inside. But it was a door, no windows, except, I mean, there was a window like when you're inside. It wasn't like a cave. But no, like on the front, but kind of. And there was just like a row of racks on the left side. We had a desk, like 2 fitting rooms. It was so small, but like such a fun like memory.
Yeah,
like it was so small and fun, and it was great. It was a great place to start. You know, it was somewhere where we could just like figure it out, and then when we were ready, we expanded. But that wasn't until later.
So what did that look like? So did you have to make a certain dollar amount for you to feel like you could go to the next? Was it because you hired so many? Is it because you expanded and brought on other lines?
Definitely dollar amounts. I mean, we were like, okay, you have to make. I mean, you know, and when you own a business, you're like, sometimes you're just day by day,
right?
Like
hour by hour,
hour by hour. Like I remember like being like 20 years old and be like, we just need to make this much today.
Right.
Like, if we can make this
one sale, that's all we need.
Yeah, like let's just do this today. If we can keep that going, that would be fantastic. Yes. So yeah, we just had to like prove that we could be. I mean, you know, it's how a company works. You have to. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to like make it work. You have to make money at the end.
What do you feel like helped you guys progress at that time? Was it marketing? Because marketing was a little bit different then. Social media was a little bit different then.
It was so when I look back, it's so crazy because when we opened our stores, Instagram and Facebook just started.
Right.
So
yeah,
I mean, it like literally was such a blessing to our business to have Instagram start because it was such a fun way to connect with our customers and show them new arrivals. And that was before algorithms and
money,
like paid marketing, businesses having to have business accounts. At that time, it was just like Sophie and Trey was a person. Like there was no business account. Like it was just like, hi, I'm Sophie and Trey. Like if you want to follow us, you can. If you want to see our new arrivals, we'll post them. Things were getting posted in time order. And if you wanted to be friends with us, you saw our new arrivals. And we just like really thrived off of that. And it was like so fun. It was so organic. Like it was just so natural. I don't know, like, you know, it's been hard for my sister and I to evolve like over the last, you know, 5-6 years with the way social media has gone. Yeah. I feel like we're getting older and then it's like, it's become so much more like.
It's so different now.
It's so different. Not in a bad way. Like there's a lot of pros. There's a lot of good things about the way it's changed. But at the same time, it's like when you get older, it's like you get stubborn and you're like, oh, I don't want to learn the new ways. It doesn't feel as natural. It doesn't feel as organic. So it's been a little hard to like evolve with it, which, you know, that's why I like marketing firms and all that stuff are great tools. But when we first started, it was just like so fun. And I was like, oh, like, you know, that's how you communicate. Pictures all the time. We were just like at the store.
With the filters.
Like, here's a new dress. Here's the filter. And people started responding and it just grew, our social media.
So do you attribute your social media presence to the success to shift from the smaller store to the bigger store?
Definitely a part of it. I mean, it wasn't like all of it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of factors, but I mean, we live in a unique community too.
Yes.
We live in a town where it's like just all the businesses in the downtown are locally owned. It's like a very mom and pop, but like modern in like the best way ever. So I feel like people come to our downtown for an experience, to see the faces, to see all of us. Like they know you're at the spa. They know I'm at the store. They know what they're getting. And then then they go on social media and they see our faces. So it's like a whole full circle. It goes full circle.
And they're buying like from you. We always tell the girls they're getting a service from you. Obviously they are going to the Rose, but they want to see Caitlin. They want to see Alyssa. And it makes it feel special because you do care about them and you remember them and you see them and get to keep in touch with them. And okay, so the store that you're at now was that the next location you were at?
Yes. Sophie and Trey stayed in that store. Then we opened 4th and Ocean.
Okay.
My sister and I were like in a fork in the road with our business at that point. Once we had started doing pretty well, and we were like, okay, we can start growing. We had to decide if we were going to take the businesses. A lot of people with boutiques end up franchising or opening multiple locations all over the country and start growing that way, which seems like the no-brainer, right? Like everyone's like, why didn't you guys do that? Like that's so weird.
Right.
We did not do that at the time because we are a very close-knit family. I had just gotten married, and then at that point, I think I was pregnant. I was having my first kid. And so it was like, we're either going to start going other places and start having to travel a lot, having to like take ourselves away from each other, what is successful, and then, you know, we're going to have to start spreading ourselves too thin. So we decided to stay in downtown Lake Mary and make more stores within downtown Lake Mary that are just different concepts. So we wanted to like specialize in women's fashion and clothing and accessories, but expand. Like Sophie and Trey could only provide so much in one store. It's like you can't, like in a small store like that, you can't have formal wear, bathing suits. Athleisure, all the things. So we were like, well, let's just open 4th and Ocean, and then that'll be our beach store, and we'll have bathing suits, athleisure. Then we can be more of everything to everyone. So then we did that, and we expanded into 4th and Ocean. So 4th and Ocean was the next store. And then after 4th and Ocean was successful for a little bit longer, then we expanded Sophie and Trey into its bigger store that it's currently in.
Which is like at least 3 times the size of the other one, right? It's a huge
It was a
store.
lot bigger. Yeah, it's been perfect.
What were your thoughts when you moved into this big space?
It was, at that time, much needed. It was like so great. It was beautiful. It was like, oh my gosh. It was just everything.
Yeah.
It was like, it was amazing. And then over the next few years, we had, for those of you who have been around Lake Mary for a while, know we owned 4 stores for a little bit. That was Statements, which is our shoe and accessory store. And then Trio was our formal wear store.
Okay.
Which we owned up until like in the middle of like the COVID time.
Okay. And those are all in the same strip as well?
Yeah.
Okay, where were they at? Statements
was where Evoke Advertising was.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Huge space as well.
And it was a shoe store. Like, it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was amazing. I mean, it was just rows and rows of shoes. Like, it was so fun.
And the building is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
it was
so
cool.
Cute.
And then Trio was a formal wear store where the bridal store is.
Okay. Also huge.
Yeah.
Huge stores.
Which was so fun. Yeah. Everything was great. Like, we have, we have the website that ships nationwide. But, businesses are just like that. Like, they have their ups and downs. And it was, when we did have to downsize, it was a little weird. Like, that's always not the best as a business owner. But now that I can look back, I can see sometimes you have to tweak things and fix things. I mean, obviously at that time, COVID had affected a lot of small businesses.
I'm just going to ask what that looked like for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, for that time, it was extreme. I mean, we had to downsize. We had to, downsize employees, downsize space. Like, my sister and I were going in every day fulfilling orders just by ourselves because, we didn't have employees working. Like, it was just a lot. So we had to, like, make changes quick to make sure we could still survive through COVID, which a lot of retailers were closing at the time. So we were just trying to make the best decisions. And then the spots had great businesses that wanted to come in. So we were like, well, let's just let them thrive and do their best and not try to be like greedy and keep these spots because it's just not smart.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit, you and your sister both have multiple children.
Yes.
What did that look like? We have a lot of moms on here, and I am not a mother, but I love mommy entrepreneurs. Can you touch a little bit on what that looked like for both of you and the dynamic between, like, I want to be home with my babies, but I want to work, but also, like, I'm doing this for them, but also, like, you're growing up so fast, but also, like, grow up because I need to go to work. Like, share that for your perspective.
This is like one of the craziest topics. I feel like
I love talking about it.
I know. I'm like, and there's no answer. There's no right or wrong answer, and there's no way to always make a mom feel good.
Right.
Like, it's one of the hardest topics. Like, I love my business, but I've had days where I go home and I'll tell my husband, like, I want to cry. I just want to be home with my babies.
Yeah. I miss them. I miss a moment, a soccer game, a ballet recital.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard. And then I have days when, you're at home with your kids and you're like, I just want to be at work. Yes. And it's like, you have waves both ways. And I think juggling life and kids and work life is just an art that is just... you have to address every day, and you just have to, like, you have to just take care of yourself and do what you can. But for me, I have to just try to stay present. I think, like, as I'm getting older, you start to learn, like, staying present and making the most of all your time and where you're at is going to make you more fulfilled. There is a beautiful thing to being a stay-at-home mom. There's a beautiful thing to being, like, a CEO of a company who works a ton, like. And there's a beautiful thing to being able to juggle both. Like, there's no right or wrong. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. Like, sometimes you just have to, like, hustle at both, and that's just the life. And just finding the time for both and always feeling good about it, I don't think is ever going to, it's never going to be perfect.
Right. And I think touching on it being kind of fluid almost is important because I'm sure there are really high days and I'm sure there are really low days. Yeah. And there is nothing more important than family, but being able to show up for yourself, but then also for your babies, like, that's hard. I don't have kids, but I can imagine that's really hard. Yeah. Do you feel like, or what do you feel like is the biggest kind of takeaways? I know that being present, but what are some other takeaways that you've been able to learn from maybe your mom or, like, your sister that have been able to ground you in balancing both? What are some kind of takeaways or, like, some words of wisdom you can give to a mom maybe in a similar position as you?
Yeah. I mean, if you're it's hard because everyone has a different, unique situation. And if you're in a similar position where you are a business owner and have kids, it's really just about prioritizing both and sticking to what you say. Like, I used to have horrible boundaries about staying at work too long. Like, I wouldn't step away. Like, have customers coming through the door and not leave until I knew they had the outfit for the vacation or and I couldn't leave. And my sister would just look at me and be like, you have to, like, you just have to have a boundary. Like, you need to go sometimes.
It's so hard.
And I don't always have clear boundaries on when to go and when to stay and all those things. So I think my advice, that the wisdom that I've learned over the years would be to try to establish boundaries and respect yourself enough to stick to them.
I think that's really good. And I think that especially as women, it is hard to have boundaries because then it's like, well, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
She's rude. Or and it's like, no, I just like can't. I can't be everything for everyone all the time and then lose myself kind of in the sauce. And that's what I've taken away from a lot of women in a similar position of being 100% at work, 100% at home, 100% for yourself. You by default are going to be the one that loses that because there's just not enough of you to go around.
There's not. And you just can't, it's not sustainable.
Right.
Like I have just, like for a few years it could be. Like when I was like, the company was booming, I was having kids, like I was like, yeah, life is great. This is great. But at some point, like you gotta figure it out. Like, something's got to give. So like figuring out your boundaries of like where you can be and when is just super crucial. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your kind of day, right? How do you balance being a wife, being a mom, being a business owner? Are you waking up early before the kids and having a workout? Are you staying up a little bit later doing like some self-care with like a glass of wine? Like what does your day kind of look like?
Yeah. So usually I have a standard poodle that I love.
Oh, I love that.
So I usually wake up and I walk him because that's me and him.
That's our like buddy time.
That's our time. And then I go home, make some coffee. When school's in, then the kids get up. We all have breakfast together.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then get them off to school, and then I get to the stores right after I get them to school. Now that I'm to a place where, I mean, I used to work at the stores like all day.
I feel like I see you all the time there still.
Yeah.
Like you're very involved.
So yeah, I'm usually there every day, but now that I'm a little more established, I'm usually there until 3.
Okay.
They call in, my youngest gets out of school at 3. So I'm usually like, that's my boundary.
Yeah. I have to get my child.
Yes.
I have to pick him up. He's a
little
kid still.
Yeah. And sometimes, I'm not kidding you, I have literally struggled with that boundary and like been late to pick him up. And
like, Mom.
Yes, he did have to call me once and be like, from the front office and be like, Mom, did you forget me? And I was like, no, I'm coming. But I just couldn't step away from a customer, or I lose track of time.
Right. Which is so easy.
Yeah.
You're doing everything. Your mind's all over the place.
Yeah. So that was a big wake up call when he called me once, and I felt so bad. I was
like, okay, boundary and scene.
Yeah. So usually we have a couple of like high school girls that come in the afternoon, and like one manager that works the evening shift, and then I'll usually leave. I will go in on the weekends for personal stylings, like personal like events or special events, that kind of thing. But normally on the weekends I am with my family now, and at my kids' sporting events and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's so good. So tell me a little bit about like the fun side. So when you're there, what does that look like? Are you still fulfilling orders? You're doing styling? Like, what does that look like? I'm like, it's like my dream job. Like, that sounds so fun.
Yeah. Honestly, that reel that goes around that circulates where it's I think it's the Full House audio where it's like, hi, I'm the janitor. Hi, I fulfill orders.
Yes.
I literally think that's just what it, like every time I see that reel, I'm like, it's so relatable as a business owner because you literally do everything.
Right.
Like my sister and I usually show up in the morning. I mean, we do everything in house. I mean, everything. She does. So we're fulfilling ordering. I mean, I'll sweep floors. I'll clean toilets. I mean, I'll do what I have to do. Everything.
Right.
We make reels.
Yes.
So my day can range from like literally cleaning to making a reel to a personal styling appointment.
Yes.
And a lot of days you do all of it. Like,
and
it's like, unpredictable. It's retail, so you just don't know. Like, like I can tell you, like in a nutshell, my day is like, we're doing opening procedures, we're processing orders first thing, and then we're working on new arrivals. What products did our customers not see online yet? Let's present that. How are we presenting that? Do we have any virtual fitting rooms today? Do we have any personal stylings? What are we doing? Making sure all that's done, and then helping customers and. Yeah.
What does it look like to help customers when they're in for personal styling, or what does that kind of look like? What is the dream experience that you want to deliver to them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my favorite thing to do is style people. I love working with people. I think that's part of the reason sometimes the boundary is hard for me, because you try to be everything to everybody. And you experience that at the spa or like your different careers you've had too. But it's like, sometimes you don't want to you want to present this like idea of, what the experience they should get. So you don't know how to like let that down. So you have to be that, which I love. But personal styling, my main goal is to make people walk away feeling better than when they came. Yeah. Like it's so much more than fashion. And it's so much more. Yeah. Like it's so much more than skincare. It's so much more than fashion. Like to be in this kind of industry, you have to genuinely care about people and want people's lives to be better. Absolutely. And I genuinely want people to walk in and like, they might not know how to dress and I want to teach them something. I want them to go home to know how to put an outfit together better. I want them to be able to go on vacation and not have to think about what they're going to wear. I want them to feel good in the picture. I want them to be able to enjoy their birthday dinner and feel good. It's just so much more. Absolutely. And people come to us to learn things. Like they don't know. Like not everyone knows. Like people aren't playing with clothes all day or putting outfits together or, working on their skin every day. It's not like they know. So they have this much time to spend with you, and you want to make sure they get what they came for, learn something, and walk out feeling like $1 million. Absolutely. And I think especially as like life progresses and things change, so much of your confidence comes from your clothing. And I think that people sometimes forget that when it's like, especially like post-COVID is kind of what I'm referring to, is that was the era of like sweatpants, t-shirts, whatever, like we're working from home, we don't care. But people forget like how much better you feel when you dress well and just dress that makes you feel comfortable. That doesn't mean like, maybe as glam as like maybe you and I would dress, but like taking a second to put on the jean that you love, the bra that you love, the, having clearer skin, it does change people's lives. And even though it is kind of silly or smaller, whatever, it does. I mean, I feel way better when I have the best jeans on or like a great shoe. Don't we all? Yeah. That's the best part of it. For sure. I mean, I tell my kids this too. It's like, it's not being like vain. Like you have to, at some point you have to care about yourself, about the way you present yourself, because it matters for yourself. Like you're going to feel better. You're going to look like, it's not all about how you look, but it's about how, it's also like the steps to take care of yourself, like the responsibility. Like, my son's 13 years old and I got him a cleanser from you guys, and I'm teaching him how to wash his face. And because this is the time. Yeah. He has a steamer at home to learn. He's learning how to like steam his shirts to look good. And like those little things, like I can tell it makes him feel more confident and feel good. And also setting him up just to be a productive adult as well, right? Yeah. Of like, you don't want to have, there's nothing wrong with this, but like if your son is the guy at work who always has a wrinkly shirt, you don't want to be that like, oh, well, my mom never used to be, I don't know how, or move him with his first partner and be like, I don't know, like how to steam a shirt. It's like, what are you talking about? And if you never learned, that's fine. That's why like people will come into Sophie and Trey and be like, what are you doing when I have the steamer out? And I'll like be like, let me show you. Like you should order one on Amazon. Like let me show you. Yes. And I can teach someone how amazing that is. Yeah, it's life-changing. It is. Good. We can learn things from anybody. Like recently I was at New City Coffee. We were just talking about that from the sticker on my water bottle. And Lily, who owns New City, was talking to me about coffee beans. And this is just like a similar story to the steamer. But she was like, pull up your phone. And she was like, I'm going to order you a coffee bean grinder. And she taught me how to grind my own coffee beans so I can make fresher coffee so it's not like acidic and all that stuff. And it was so simple. And she wouldn't have like taken those like 5 minutes out of her day to be like, it was like a $20 coffee. You're going to have to send me that because I'm interested in that too. I know. She bought me like a $20 coffee bean grinder. Yeah. So now I can just have the fresh coffee beans that are from her family farm, by the way. So cool. Coffee. I know. Yes. And I just grind them every morning and then brew them. And my coffee is amazing. Yes. And your day is better. Yes. And you're a better wife and mom and a business owner. But if she would have never taught me like, hey, you can just grind them. Right. And brew your coffee for 4 minutes and it's better, then I would have never known. And I would have just been like making who knows why?
Right. And to her, it's like no big deal. Just like to us, it's like it's a steamer, babe, or it's a face wash. It's nothing crazy. But you just never know.
Yeah.
And that is one thing to kind of touch on social media that I have loved post-COVID is how easy information is accessible. It's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But being able to find people that are into that, or like even watching your reels and stuff, it's like, oh, I didn't think about that, or like styling this way or matching this, whatever. It's so fun to get those little nuggets wherever you can.
I know. That's why, like, when we were talking about social media, the way it is now is so great. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Because the little nuggets, sometimes it's so many little nuggets that I don't know if that's always healthy for everybody.
Right.
But it is so, I mean, like, the information you could get is just
of anything.
So much.
Of everything.
Yeah. So I like, because sometimes from a business side of it, I'm like, I don't know, like, sometimes the reels are like I love the reels. Like, I literally laugh out loud every day, I think, by somebody's reels. Like, your guys' reels are amazing. Like, everyone's
your guys are amazing.
They're so fun.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, wait, is this like should we still be? Remember like when Facebook Live was a thing? Yes. I'm like, why aren't we doing Facebook Lives anymore?
Right.
Like, it's just
don't tell Ryan. He's always telling me to go live.
I
don't
know.
tell him.
But then like we go live, and I'm like, I think I'm aging myself. Like, I don't think this is a thing anymore. So like, I don't. I don't always know. I'm like, are these reels like good or?
Right. No, they're always fun. And even if they are not your favorite personally, they're someone else's favorite. And I always try and remind the girls, like, just because you're maybe making a piece of content that's not like you're so obsessed with, someone else will probably find it to be so interesting that maybe just doesn't know. Yeah. Maybe it's that teenager who's never washed their face before. To you, it might be silly, but to someone else, it might be, oh, I had no idea. Like, because maybe they just weren't taught that, or maybe they come from a family that doesn't do X, Y, and Z, and it's just so interesting to have so much education just at your fingertips.
I know. Yeah.
It is kind of crazy.
Facebook
okay, so so you're moving into these bigger spaces. You're in these bigger spaces. COVID happened. Are a lot of your orders still online, or like what does your online kind of website traffic kind of look like?
Yeah, so at that time, when everything got shut down for a hot minute there, we were still processing online. We were like going on Facebook Live. Like, hey guys, you want to have a new outfit at home? We can ship it to you. We were trying to, stay afloat, and people were great locally and ordering online. So we were processing, and then I don't remember how long we were closed before we could like open our doors and try to get traffic going again. But it was such a unique time.
Yeah.
But, we refined parts of the business that probably needed refined and tried to find the lessons within it all.
Yeah. What do you feel like is your biggest takeaway from that time in your life? Like, what's the biggest lesson that you learned professionally?
Bigger isn't always better.
Sure.
Like, downsizing our team a little bit and, like, not having so much can kind of, like, be good sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I think, like, bringing it back down and, like, getting more grounded and, like, finding the importance of the relationships and the team building and that sort of thing was really big. And more getting back, because at that point there was a time where, like, we got big and, like, I was in the office more, not on the floor as much. I wasn't liking life as much because I wasn't connecting with my customers as much. I was, like, pulled so many different directions, like photo shoots, office work, more time, like this meeting, that meeting, marketing team, this team, and you get lost for a minute. Mm-hmm. So then bringing it back down to the basics of what made us successful was amazing.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's like a quality versus quantity thing, but that's hard, especially when you're growing so fast. You're like, oh, we need, but you kind of get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
We have felt that way similarly of just having to kind of like reel it back in. And even though it can feel kind of not awesome to kind of reel it back in, but there are times where it's like, that actually doesn't matter. We can put that on the back burner for a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's not a fail. It's just not maybe right now.
Yeah.
Which is a natural part of it, I think.
For sure. Because your ego is like, I want to be as big and great as I can be, right? Like, you're like, I want to make more, I want to make as much as I can. I want to be as big as I can. And that's our, obviously our natural, like,
right.
We want that. But then it's like, wait, what exactly are we doing here? Like, what are you trading out to get that?
I was just going to say the trade-off sometimes is not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured that out.
Where do you see your business in the next couple of years? Like, are you ready to expand into another location? Are you wanting to bring back the shoes? Like, where does it go?
We're very content with the stores right now. Website's a little tricky because especially even during the COVID time, I think our website took a huge turn just because we had grown so much online. And then it was, all the different easy shopping ways that just kind of like changed that
landscape.
Yeah. So maybe tweaking that and perfecting that a little bit better again, getting back like to spending more time on that. We kind of like focused more on our brick and mortar the last few years and less on that.
Yeah.
So maybe focusing a little bit more on that. I don't think we'll expand more stores into different cities or anything quite yet, just because our kids are at a very vulnerable stage in life where like, I think they need us a lot right now.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
Mine are 10 and 13 and Ryan's are 9 and 7.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're all still like, they're babies still.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
And it's like that, it goes back to that whole like, oh, how do you balance it as a mom? And it's like, well, right now I need to stay balanced. And I know how to stay balanced is to like, I know when I should be home. And so if I start like pushing too much in.
No need for big projects right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you want to, but it's like, what's important?
Right.
Like, you should probably like, I should be taking my kids to soccer practice a little bit.
Not leaving them at school.
Not leaving them at school. And
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys ever look into owning like another restaurant?
I don't. Ryan probably would.
Sure.
I probably wouldn't.
Or a coffee shop?
I mean, if I had to quit everything, I would just be a barista.
Yeah.
Like,
you can work at
it's
City.
so fun, like to make people's mornings and like make them a coffee and be like, "I've got your coffee." But Ryan, she loves it. I mean, I would. I don't love that industry though.
Sure.
She probably would. She's a great cook too, though, so she like would have a lot to offer. But. I mean, I've always just been more passionate about. I mean, I think I'm more naturally good at what I do.
Sure.
I'm not good at food.
Sure. Well, you're very social. You're very easy to talk to. You're, very glam. So it's easy to be like, this is what you need. Listen to me. I promise I have your back.
Yeah. I don't think I should be like feeding people. That's not like my expertise.
Unless it's coffee.
Yeah. I mean, I can make it look pretty.
Right.
I can make your
flour on the plate. Yeah. Swirling of sauces.
I'll take a picture of you with your food so you can have an Instagram post.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah, because you do all of your photos and stuff, right? Or
we do.
At least a lot of them. Yeah.
I know you guys walked by us this morning as we were doing a photo shoot. We do photo shoots like once a week. That's another crazy thing that's evolved. We used to have like the big Canon cameras and professional. We had an amazing photographer that worked for us, who edited, and when our website was like booming, and it's just become more quaint. Like we're back to our team, getting our girls that work with us, like just,
it's more authentic. How big is your team? It's not huge.
No, it's not right now. Yeah. It's like, I think we have 14 girls.
Okay. That's way bigger than I thought. Okay, never mind. I thought it was like maybe like 5.
Maybe 12 or 14. I can't remember. But
that's pretty good though. That's a big. People don't talk about as a business owner how big of a piece of your pie investing in people that work for you can be.
Yeah,
that's like payroll. I mean, that's a huge part of business that people just don't even think twice about. It's a huge team.
It is.
That's actually huge.
I mean, yeah, and but a lot of our girls, we have a few managers. A lot of our high schoolers only work like 2 shifts a week.
Sure.
Which I love our high schoolers. They're fantastic. But I find that for a first job for high schoolers, 2 shifts a week, 1 during the week, 1 on the weekend is perfect for them. It makes it so they're not overwhelmed. They can get their
homework and sports, whatever.
Yeah. So sometimes it becomes, it's that for them. So that's why the number can sound like a lot, but it's, but it's a good mix of high school, college, and then some young professional. Like,
nice.
Yeah. Like Rachel that works for us right now has a little baby, which is like the first time we've ever had an employee that, you know, went through having a pregnancy and baby with us, and she came back.
I love
and
that.
It's been such a positive experience.
Yeah.
For me and Ryan to see too that it was successful for her to like stay with us, which was
we're
cool.
Bringing on onesies, guys.
Yeah,
we're bringing on baby shoes. Everyone get excited. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about clothes because I'm a big clothes girl. What are some trends that you're loving right now for summer, and then what are some trends that you are expecting into fall?
Yes, well, summer. I feel like
I guess summer's kind of over, but. Well, I guess it's still summertime.
Well, it's so weird because we're doing our summer clearance sale and like clearancing out summer and pre-fall's coming in.
Right.
But saying that to Floridians when they walk through our door right now sounds so stupid. Like I'm like
you want a blazer?
Summer clearance. I feel like that like, you know, GIF from I forget, from Frozen where the kids like
summer blowout.
Summer blowout. I like imagine that every time I say it.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid. But
it's funny. I love it.
Yeah. For summer, I mean, I loved all the sets. We have like these terry cloth sets at 4th and Ocean that are so beachy and cute. Mm-hmm. It's like wearing a towel.
I think you were wearing one when you came in for your facial.
Oh, yeah. I think I was.
They're so beautiful.
I love them. So the sets are great. They're like casual, cute, just
sandals
easy.
Or like a wedge and you're ready to rock.
Yeah, I love them. And then transitioning those into fall with like the sweater sets and all that is great. For fall... well, I'm really starting to see all the dark floral, all the colors change. In Florida, it's tough because I always talk to people. I'm like, it's not so much about starting to layer. It's more about transitioning your colors.
Sure.
And that's kind of how we handle the heat and a new season. So I will talk to my customers about, okay, we're coming into August. We're seeing pre-fall. We're going to start bringing in the rust color, then the dark blue, that dark mustard yellow, like
a green or sage green.
Yeah. So like our last photo shoot was so much of that. Mm-hmm. Another one we were talking about is like this little,
this is good.
This little lace turtleneck thing I'm wearing.
This is good.
This is coming out and I'm wearing it like a little more sophisticated with a blazer. Mm-hmm. But we were talking, I feel like this is like long sleeve. I'm feeling like it's going to be a huge trim with the graphic tees. Yeah. So with like a little more grunge.
Yeah. And like a mini skirt or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have fun seeing how people want to wear that.
Are your jeans from you guys?
Yes, of course. I only wear Sophie Trey.
Okay, you're kidding. I thought that. I assumed, but I also didn't want to like totally assume. Yeah. The jeans are so good.
Thank you. I love a good flare jean.
Me as well. Especially because we're like so petite. It's so good for the tiny frame.
It is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think flare jeans are good on any body type because I think it's the most flattering jean.
I totally agree.
And you can also wear like a really high shoe with it.
Yes.
And you look like your legs are a mile long.
Yes. I love that.
So a flare jean is where it's at.
Yes, absolutely.
I love the straight leg jean trend too. Mm-hmm. I think it's super fun and like, but it's not a trend that guys like. One, it's more of like I wear it because you think I'm cute or like it makes me feel cute. It's like the girls like it. Yeah. But it is a fun trend. And then skinny jeans, people ask me all the time, like, can I still wear skinny jeans? And I'm like, listen, it's fashion.
Yes.
Like, don't wear the baggy straight leg jean if you don't like it.
Like,
if you're just like, a skinny jean's always going to be flattering. It's always going to be good. Mm-hmm. So if that's what you're comfortable in and you're going to look your best if you feel more confident.
Absolutely.
So we still like have that in the store, but it's like more of like that straight leg flare and
absolutely.
Actually, you know what I'm seeing a lot of too is the boot cut.
I know.
Which feels so 90s, 2000s. Yes. Well, 2000s, I think.
Yes.
It's like the low-rise boot cut that Britney Spears wore
in middle school or elementary school. It's like a Old Navy boot cut jean.
Yeah.
With like a Birkenstock.
Yeah. And like low-rise. Like,
yes, low-rise, yes.
Yeah. Like our low-rise boot cuts are like, we can't keep them in stock. I'm like,
sure. Like this?
I'm like, I'm not wearing low-rise, but if you guys want to.
I've had babies. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. But if you can still rock that, that's cool.
What is your kind of non-negotiable for like a special event or a special night out, a special dinner? What's like your go-to thing? Maybe it's like a low-cut top or like a tight jean. What are you reaching for?
What am I wearing?
Yeah. Or what is something that you're like, I'm bringing the bag, or I want like a bright lip? What is something for a special occasion that you're always going back to, if you have one?
Definitely like an off-the-shoulder top.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I love, like if I
like
don't...
a one shoulder or like both shoulders?
Like a one shoulder.
Okay, yes.
And we have like this one top at Sophie Trey we've always had, and I feel like I always grab it.
Yeah.
But it's just like an off the shoulder black, and it's always black. Like
if
you don't like black tops and jeans is always a go-to. It's
always good.
Because you can just throw like what if I want to wear boots that night, heels, wherever I'm going. If it's like, a Mexican restaurant, I want to have like a cowboy theme.
Right.
Not like theming everything in my life, but I kind of do.
Yeah.
But, off the shoulder black top, I think is always classic.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have a signature piece of clothing?
I like blazers a lot.
Okay. That's your thing. What about them? Why do you love them so much?
Because you can literally be wearing anything.
Yeah.
And a blazer.
You're so dressed up.
Yeah. And everyone will think you look put together if you have a blazer on.
Yes.
Like I could have like cut off shorts and a t-shirt from walking my dog on. Throw a blazer and a wedge on and people will be like, oh.
You know what I love to do personally is have my athleisure and a blazer to and fro. People don't even think twice. They're like, you're so chic. I'm like, I'm sweaty. And I just wanted like a jacket. But it's like I have like a men's really baggy, like loose black blazer. And I wear that with my athleisure and like little mini Uggs everywhere in the fall. And everyone's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm Hailey Bieber. I know. I mean, like literally the blazers are over even the biker shorts and the little t-shirt. Yes. I mean, it can transform your wardrobe. Absolutely.
So blazers, I think, are just so underrated. And I learned that actually from my grandma. If you guys have ever seen, for those of you that see my grandma, she's like so hilarious.
She's so glam.
She's just very glam, but like loud. But she has this one blazer that she's had forever. And she just wears it like so effortlessly. And I think I just always like watched her wear her blazers. And I just always was like,
you're cool.
She just looks like cool.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's like a fun piece to always remember her by. Yeah. It's a blazer, a chic blazer.
Yeah.
I love that. Last question I'll ask, like rapid fire. If you were talking to someone who was like brand new to clothing, they just wanted a full refresh, what are like your top like 3 to 5 pieces that everyone needs to have in their closet, no matter how old you are, no matter what your body type is, no matter your profession? What are your like top items?
A V-neck tee, a blazer, a good pair of jeans.
Any specific wash?
Medium.
Okay.
Non-distressed.
Yep.
Maybe like a little distressed at the bottom.
I totally agree.
Yeah. A good dress.
Black? White?
Black would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Like a gym tone.
Yep.
Black preferable, but if you're going to like pick a color, like stick to like navy, the gym tones, which would be like that emerald color, burgundy, like a good color that just looks good on everybody. And then probably a good handbag.
Yeah.
Like a good crossbody that can go from day to night.
Maybe have the straps taken off if you need it as a clutch or whatever. Yeah. I love that. I totally agree. I love talking about clothes. It's so fun. Well, thank you so much for being on. This was so fun to have you. Do you have any like final thoughts or anything you want to share kind of before we wrap up? Any thoughts on your business or any like final words to anyone who's maybe in a similar position of wanting to open their own store? If a little girl is hearing this and they want to own their own shop, any advice?
Advice. Make sure you love it.
Yes.
It's not easy to own your own business, but it does have its rewards. But you have to love it to really make it work.
I think so too.
Yeah.
The passion has to be there.
Yeah. You have to be passionate, or some people just prefer to work for somebody, and that's just easier, but there's nothing wrong with that either.
Your passion is what fuels you on those days that no one comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just stay focused. Don't get sucked into social media and lose your drive and your passion.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Share with everyone where they can find you, where they can shop, Instagram, everything. Tell everyone.
Yes. So you can find us in downtown Lake Mary, both of our stores. Yes. Instagram is Sophie and Trey, but all of our stores are under one Instagram, Sophie and Trey. Nationwide, sophieandtrey.com. All spelled out, ANDTREY, sophieandtrey.com.
Perfect.
Just a few doors down from the Rose Spa, so you can come shop, do a personal styling, and then go get your hair, makeup. I just did this eyebrow lamination. Was that last week?
Yeah, they look amazing, by the way.
What is it? I mean, I don't even know what happens to my eyebrows, but I can just brush them up and they stay. And I'm obsessed.
It's the best.
So anything you need done for your face, eyebrows, lashes, you can do it with a rose.
Yes.
And I literally love their products.
Yes. They're the best.
So you can get your fashion, hair,
nails.
Yes. Everything is like literally, we're all like right in a row there.
It's the best.
Yeah. And I like I said, I can't cook well, but I can tell you where to eat in downtown Lake Mary. So you can come do a whole day there.
Yep. And it's just going to be the best day, and we'll all cheer you on, and we're all so excited to have you. And it's just so good. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yes.
My pleasure. Bye, all right. Bye, guys.